A mother and her partner have been found guilty of murdering her 4-year-old son, Daniel Pelka. A jury at Birmingham Crown Court convicted Magdalena Wuszak and Mariusz Krezulek after hearing how the child was subjected to months of cruelty. The boy's murder, which occurred weeks after teaching staff saw him with bruising and black eyes, is the subject of a serious case review by Coventry's Safeguarding Children's Board. Well, the pair will be sentenced on Friday. Joan Cummins' report contains details some viewers might find disturbing.
Right, what's the problem there? What's happened?
Listen, my son, he stopped breathing, and we wake up and he stopped breathing.
The desperate cries of a mother pleading for help to save her son.
What's he doing now? Is he breathing?
No, he's not breathing. Nothing.
But the reality was this was the final attempt by Magdalena Wuszak and Mariusz Krezulek to con the authorities about Daniel. In fact, he'd been subjected to unbelievable cruelty for 6 months.
This was a premeditated, pre-planned and prolonged murder of this little boy, and it was teamwork between both stepfather and mother that worked very well together to achieve Daniel's death.
Daniel started school in September 2011 and was described as a quiet, bright child. By the time of his death, his body was likened to that of a concentration camp victim. Police who investigated Daniel's story remain baffled as to the adult's systematic motivation for torturing him.
We'll never understand why they did what they did to Daniel. They turned Daniel from a beautiful, bright-eyed little boy into a bag of bones, basically, and sort of broke him in so many ways. So it's a very, very emotional case.
Daniel's final hours were spent alone on a urine-soaked mattress, locked in a room with no handle, no escape, effectively a cell. But in the months leading up to his death, official agencies were aware of the family.
The persons that are responsible for Daniel's murder were very cunning, very conniving, very plausible. Mother, who was challenged and approached by professionals on occasions, was very convincing and told a number of lies to conceal what was happening to Daniel.
Krezulek and Wuszak moved frequently around the Coventry area. One neighbour told me that they'd had to call the police after Krezulek had become aggressive in a dispute over noise. And both Warwickshire and West Midlands police were called out to the couple to investigate allegations of domestic violence. Questions over the role of agencies remain unanswered. Education officials investigated Daniel's poor school attendance. The NHS were told that Daniel had an eating disorder. Health visitors even visited the home but never saw him. And the deceit of an underlying eating problem was repeated to teachers. They were told not to allow Daniel any extra food. They complied and reprimanded Daniel when he stole and scavenged for food in bins. Little Heath Primary School refused to speak to journalists but issued this video to the media.
Daniel will be remembered by everybody who knew him during his all too brief time here, and his death has had a devastating impact on our school community.
A safeguarding review is examining the actions of all the agencies. Daniel's birth father, Eric Pelka, told the court he'd split up with Wuszak in 2008 and returned to his native Poland. He never saw his son again. He says he hates those responsible, but feels at least his son is no longer suffering.
Tak, na pewno.
I think as a small innocent boy, I think he gone up there to the heaven, and I think he's good now there, and it's really hard to talk to me about it.
The death of the schoolboy has stunned Coventry's 30,000 strong Polish community who have said prayers for the boy they never knew.
It was a shock. The whole congregation was in shock that something like this could have happened on our doorstep.
Whilst child murders are rare, they always prompt questions over how adults can hurt those they're supposed to care for. The Public Protection Unit of West Midlands Police have investigated the deaths of dozens of children in the last 5 years. Sadly, Daniel's story is yet another to be added to their list of innocent victims.
Joan Cummins reporting. 5 men have been